Commander Zixtar stood on the observation deck of the Alvarian science vessel, Cosmic Seeker, watching the blue-green planet on the main screen. Earth, as the natives called it, was just another primitive world on their galactic survey route. The commander's facial tentacles twitched with amusement as he reviewed the preliminary reports on human technology. "They still use combustion engines for transportation," he said to his second-in-command, Krell. "And their communication systems rely on crude radio waves and physical cables." Krell's skin rippled with the Alvarian equivalent of laughter. The Galactic Council classified them as a Level 2 civilization. They haven't even unified their planet yet. The Alvarians had been observing Earth for decades, keeping their presence hidden behind advanced cloaking technology. They considered humans barely worth noting in their extensive catalogs of sentient life. Still, protocol required a thorough analysis before moving on to more promising systems. "Begin atmospheric sampling," Commander Zixtar ordered. "Let's complete our survey and move on to the Centauri system." Far below on Earth, Jack Murphy walked across the frozen ground to check the instruments at the Remote Atmospheric Research Station in Alaska. At 45, Jack had spent most of his career watching weather patterns in places other people avoided. He preferred the silence of the Arctic to the noise of cities. The northern lights danced overhead as he adjusted his wool hat against the cold. Inside the main building, Susan Phillips looked up from her computer screen as Jack stomped snow from his boots. "Still freezing out there?" she asked, pushing a mug of coffee toward him. "Always," Jack replied with a smile. He hung up his heavy coat and walked to his monitoring station. "That's strange." "What is it?" Susan asked, not looking up from her work. Jack pointed to his screen. "These upper atmosphere readings don't make sense. There's some kind of energy pattern I've never seen before." Susan finally glanced over. "Probably just equipment malfunction. It's been acting up since that storm last week. No, I checked the equipment this morning. Something's up there." What Jack couldn't know was that he was detecting the energy signatures of the cloaked Alvarian vessels entering Earth's atmosphere. Their technology was advanced but not perfect. The ships left subtle disturbances as they moved through the upper layers of air. Thousands of miles away in Houston, Dr. Lisa Bennett stared at her own unusual readings. At 38, she had established herself as one of NASA's top atmospheric scientists, though her theories often put her at odds with her colleagues. For months, she had tracked anomalous patterns in greenhouse gas distributions that defied conventional models. "Dr. Bennett, are you still here?" Lisa looked up to see Greg Adams, her department head, standing in her office doorway. "Just finishing up," she said, though she had no intention of leaving soon. Greg glanced at her computer screen. "Still chasing those anomalies? You know the satellite data has a margin of error." "The pattern is too consistent for equipment error," Lisa insisted. "Something is causing these atmospheric disruptions and it's not natural." Greg sighed. "Lisa, you need to focus on projects that will get funding. The board meets next week, and your position isn't guaranteed for next year." After he left, Lisa continued her work. Her fingers flew across the keyboard as she compared datasets. The disruptions followed a pattern that suggested intelligence. Either someone was conducting secret atmospheric tests, or something stranger was happening. Aboard the Cosmic Seeker, the Alvarian science team gathered around their testing equipment. Chief Scientist Nevora had triple-checked the results, yet still couldn't believe them. "Commander, you need to see this," she called, her voice vibrating with excitement. Commander Zixtar glided across the lab. "What have you found?" "Earth's atmosphere contains levels of oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide that should make it uninhabitable according to our understanding of biological systems," Nevora explained. "And the pollutants these humans have released, their planet should be dying. Yet they thrive," Krell observed. "More than thrive," Nevora corrected. "Their bodies process toxins that would kill an Alvarian instantly. Their cellular structures resist radiation damage. Their neural systems function at extraordinary speeds in this oxygen-rich environment." Commander Zixtar's skin darkened with concern. "The Galactic Council needs this information immediately. These humans are not the primitives we thought them to be." Back at the Alaska Research Station, Jack's monitoring equipment suddenly failed. All screens went dark, then lit up with random patterns. "What's going on?" Susan asked, rushing over. Before Jack could answer, the lights flickered throughout the station. Outside, the sled dogs began howling. "I need to check the backup generator," Jack said, pulling on his coat. He stepped outside into the bitter cold. The northern light seemed brighter than usual, pulsing with colors he had never seen before. The dogs were frantic, pulling at their chains and barking at the sky. Jack walked toward the equipment shed, his flashlight beam cutting through the darkness. Something moved at the edge of his vision. He swung the light toward it and froze. Figure stood by the atmospheric monitoring array. It was tall and thin, with skin that shifted colors like oil on water. Multiple limbs moved with fluid grace as it collected air samples. Its head had no distinct features Jack could recognize. As a face, the encounter lasted only seconds. The figure noticed Jack's light, turned toward him with what might have been surprise, then simply vanished. Not ran away, not hid. Vanished. Jack stood motionless, his heart pounding. He wondered if the isolation was finally getting to him in Houston. Lisa's computer suddenly lit up with a transmission unlike anything she'd seen before. Complex equations scrolled across her screen, atmospheric modeling formulas far beyond current Earth science. She quickly saved the data before it disappeared. The phone rang, startling her. "Dr. Bennett," she answered. "Lisa, it's Paul." Paul. Richards was one of the few colleagues who took her theories seriously. His work in astrobiology often crossed paths with her atmospheric research. "Paul, you won't believe what just happened." "Check your email," he interrupted. "I sent you something from the International Space Station. They've been tracking unusual energy signatures in Earth's upper atmosphere for the past week." Lisa opened his email and gasped. The patterns matched exactly what she had been tracking. "Something's up there, Lisa," Paul said, "and it's interested in our atmosphere." Aboard the Cosmic Seeker, Commander Zixtar received a priority message from one of his scout ships. "Commander, we've been detected. A human saw our atmospheric collection team. Were you following cloaking protocols?" the commander demanded. "Yes, but their equipment detected our energy signatures. And there's more. A human scientist has been tracking our movements. Her name is Lisa Bennett. She intercepted some of our data transmissions." Commander Zixtar made a quick decision. "Prepare for direct observation. I want to know more about these humans who can survive in what should be toxic conditions. The Galactic Council was wrong about them." He looked at the blue planet on his view screen with new respect. The species they had laughed at for their primitive technology had evolved in one of the most volatile atmospheres known to support advanced life. That alone made humans dangerous, and potentially valuable, to the galactic community. "It seems," he said quietly to himself, "that we have much to learn from these resilient beings." 2 days after his strange encounter outside the research station, Jack Murphy still couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw that strange figure with its color-shifting skin. Susan had suggested he was just tired and seeing things in the Arctic darkness. Jack knew better. He sat in the small communications room, hesitating before picking up the satellite phone. Who would believe him? But he had to tell someone. Finally, he dialed his old college friend Alan Carter, who worked for a government weather agency. "Jack, it's 3 a.m. here," Alan's sleepy voice answered. "Sorry, but I need to talk to someone with clearance," Jack said. "Something happened up here." "What do you mean, clearance?" Jack took a deep breath. "I saw something, Alan. Not human. It was collecting air samples from our station." The line went silent for a moment. Then Alan spoke in a completely different tone. "Don't tell anyone else about this. I'm going to give you a number to call. Ask for Donna White." Meanwhile in Houston, Lisa Bennett had spent 48 hours analyzing the strange equations that had appeared on her computer. She'd called Paul, Richards, and together they worked to decode what looked like advanced atmospheric modeling formulas. "This can't be from Earth," Paul said, rubbing his tired eyes. "These equations account for atmospheric variables we haven't even identified." Yet Lisa nodded. "And look here. They're specifically focused on how different gases interact with living tissue. Almost like they're studying How we breathe? Paul finished her thought. Exactly. Lisa turned to her whiteboard covered in calculations. According to these models, our atmosphere should be too oxygen-rich for complex life. But here we are. Paul's phone buzzed. He checked the message and frowned. My friend at the space agency says there's a closed-door meeting happening about atmospheric anomalies. We're not the only ones who've noticed something strange. On the Alvarian vessel, Chief Scientist Nevora had completed her analysis of Earth's atmosphere. Commander Zixtar and the senior officers gathered in the central laboratory to hear her findings. Earth's atmosphere is 21% oxygen, Nevora explained, her skin flashing colors of excitement. For most galactic species, anything above 10% is considered toxic. How do humans survive this? Asked Krell. Their cellular structure is remarkable, Nevora replied. Their bodies use oxygen in ways we've never seen before. They've evolved in what most species would consider poison. Commander Zixtar moved closer to the display showing human biological data. What about the pollutants their industries release? Carbon dioxide, methane, and thousands of synthetic chemicals. That's even more surprising, Nevora said. Humans have adapted to process toxins that would kill most species instantly. Their liver organs filter poisons. Their lungs have specialized cells to trap particles. Their skin blocks radiation levels. That would destroy Alvarian DNA. And their brains? Krell asked. Nevora's skin darkened with concern. Their neural systems use the high oxygen content to process information faster than most galactic species. In simple terms, they think quickly because they breathe poison. Commander Zixtar moved to the viewing window and looked down at Earth. The Galactic Council must reconsider their classification of humans. They're not primitive. They're specialized for survival in extreme conditions. Some council members will see them as a threat, Krell warned, and others will see them as valuable. The commander replied, a species that can breathe toxic air could explore planets no other race dares visit. Jack Murphy stepped off the small plane at a private airfield outside Washington, D.C. A black car waited on the tarmac. A woman in a plain suit stood beside it. Mr. Murphy? I'm Donna White, she said, extending her hand. Thank you for coming. Did Alan explain why I'm here? Jack asked as they drove away from the airfield. He said you had an encounter at your research station, Donna replied. We've had similar reports from remote locations around the world. Jack stared at her. You mean I'm not crazy? Others have seen them too? You're definitely not crazy, Mr. Murphy. We've been tracking unusual atmospheric disturbances for months. Then last week, several people reported seeing non-human entities collecting air samples. The car took them to a nondescript office building. Inside, they entered a secure elevator that required Donna's fingerprint and a code. They descended far below ground level. When the doors opened, Jack saw a large operations room filled with screens and busy people. On the main display was a map showing strange energy signatures across the globe. Welcome to Project Atmospheric. Sentinel, Donna said. We need your help, Mr. Murphy. You're one of the few who've seen them up close. In Houston, Lisa Bennett returned to her apartment after 3 days of working on the mysterious equations. She needed a shower and sleep. As she unlocked her door, she felt something wrong. The air smelled different. Hello, Dr. Bennett? A man's voice said from her living room. Lisa froze. A man in a dark suit sat calmly on her couch. Who are you? How did you get in here? She demanded. My name is Frank Howard, he said. I'm with a government agency that doesn't officially exist, and we need to talk about those equations you've been studying. Lisa's heart pounded. How do you know about that? We know a lot of things, Dr. Bennett. Like the fact that your computer received an unauthorized transmission from a source we can't identify, and that you and Dr. Richards have been working on advanced atmospheric models far beyond current science. Are you here to shut down my research? Lisa asked. Frank smiled slightly. Just the opposite. I'm here to offer you resources. But first, you need to come with me. There's someone you should meet. Aboard the Cosmic Seeker, Commander Zixtar received an urgent message from the Galactic Council. He read it twice, his skin darkening with each word. Bad news? Krell asked. The worst, the commander replied. The council is divided on how to handle Earth. Some see humans as a valuable resource. Others view them as a potential threat. What do they want us to do? Commander Zixtar's skin rippled with frustration. Prepare contingency plans for quarantining the planet. Quarantine? That would mean, yes, cutting Earth off from the rest of the galaxy, forever. The commander looked at the beautiful blue planet on his screen. In just days, his opinion of humans had changed completely. He had come to respect their unique evolution and their resilience. I won't let it happen, he said quietly. These humans deserve their place in the galaxy. What will you do? Krell asked. Something forbidden, the commander replied. I'm going to make direct contact. In the underground facility, Jack Murphy met other witnesses from around the world. A forest ranger from Brazil, a lighthouse keeper from Ireland, a weather scientist from Japan, all had seen the same kind of being Jack had encountered in Alaska. As they shared their stories, Donna White entered the room with someone new. Everyone, I'd like you to meet Dr. Lisa Bennett and Dr. Paul Richards from NASA. Jack watched as a woman and man entered, looking as tired and confused as he felt. Dr. Bennett has been studying strange atmospheric patterns, Donna explained, and she received something you all need to see. Lisa stepped forward nervously. I believe whoever or whatever is visiting our planet is specifically interested in our atmosphere. According to the data I've received, our air should be toxic to most life forms, but we've evolved to breathe it. And that makes us special, added Paul. Maybe even valuable. The room fell silent as everyone processed this information. Then a new voice spoke. You are indeed special, humans. More than you know. Everyone turned toward the sound. Where there had been empty space a moment before, a tall figure now stood. Its skin shifted colors like oil on water. It had multiple limbs and no face that they could recognize. I am Commander Zixtar of the Alvarian Science Vessel Cosmic Seeker, the being said, and I need your help to save your planet. The room fell into shocked silence. Guards reached for their weapons, but Donna White raised her hand to stop them. Commander Zixtar stood perfectly still, his skin shifting through calming blue patterns. Please, I mean no harm, the alien said. I have broken our highest laws by revealing myself to you. Jack Murphy stared in amazement. The being before them was exactly like the one he had seen in Alaska, but somehow more impressive. Its body seemed to flow like water as it moved. Frank Howard stepped forward. Why have you come to Earth? What do you want from us? At first, we came only to study, Commander Zixtar replied. We study all developing worlds, but your planet surprised us. Lisa Bennett couldn't contain her scientific curiosity. Those equations you sent me, they're about our atmosphere, aren't they? The commander's skin rippled in what might have been surprise. Yes. You understood them? Not completely, Lisa admitted. But enough to know that according to your science, humans shouldn't be able to survive in our atmosphere. Precisely, the alien confirmed. Your world has oxygen levels that would be toxic to most galactic species. Your industrial pollution would kill any Alvarian within minutes. Yet humans thrive here. Paul Richards stepped closer. So we're special because we can breathe poison? Not just breathe it. You evolved in it, Commander Zixtar explained. Your cellular structures, your brain function, your entire biology is adapted to conditions most species consider deadly. Frank Howard's expression remained stern. You still haven't told us why you're breaking your laws to contact us. The commander's skin darkened. Because the Galactic Council is divided about Earth. Some see your unique biology as valuable. Others see it as threatening. Threatening how? Donna asked. Your ability to survive in harsh conditions could make you the perfect soldiers, explorers, or colonists for worlds no other species can inhabit, the alien explained. Some fear you would eventually dominate the galaxy. Jack felt a chill run down his spine. What happens if they decide we're too dangerous? They would quarantine your world, Commander Zixtar said quietly. Earth would be cut off from all contact with the galaxy. Forever. The humans exchanged worried glances. Lisa's scientific mind was racing. But you disagree with them, that's why you're here. Yes. I believe humans deserve their place among the stars. Your adaptability is not a threat. It's a gift. Commander Zixstar moved to the center of the room, his multiple limbs creating graceful patterns as he gestured. My ship has collected extensive data on your atmosphere and human biology. With your permission, I wish to share something important. He produced a small device that projected a three-dimensional image of Earth. The planet was surrounded by colorful layers representing different atmospheric components. This is your world as we see it, the alien explained. To Alvarian eyes, your planet glows with what we would consider poison. The image changed to show a human body, with respiratory and cellular systems highlighted. And this is how your bodies process that poison, he continued. Your lungs extract oxygen that would burn Alvarian tissue. Your cells contain structures that neutralize toxins that would kill most species instantly. Your DNA repair mechanisms can handle radiation damage that would destroy our genetic code. Paul leaned forward with interest. So our greatest weakness, our polluted atmosphere, is actually our greatest strength? Exactly, Commander Zixstar confirmed. But there's more. The projection changed again, showing the human brain. Your neural systems evolved in this oxygen-rich environment. It allows your brains to process information more quickly than many species. In simple terms, your toxic air helps you think faster. Lisa gasped. That's why you're worried the Council might see us as a threat. Yes, a species that can breathe poison, resist radiation, process toxins, and think quickly is potentially dangerous in the eyes of some Council members. Frank Howard had been quietly observing. Now he spoke. What exactly do you want from us, Commander? I need your help to change the Council's mind, the alien replied. To show them that humans are not a threat, but a valuable potential ally. Donna crossed her arms. And how do we do that? By demonstrating your unique abilities in a way that benefits others rather than threatens them, Commander Zixstar said. There are worlds rich in resources that no Council species can safely visit. Toxic atmospheres, high radiation, extreme conditions. With human help, these worlds could be explored and developed. Lisa's eyes lit up. You're talking about humans, becoming the galaxy's environmental specialists? Precisely, the commander's skin brightened. Where others see only your primitive technology, I see a species uniquely adapted to survive where others cannot. Jack Murphy, who had been quiet for some time, finally spoke. So after laughing at us for being backward, you now need us because we're tough? The alien's skin flushed with colors that might have been embarrassment. Yes, the Alvarians were wrong to judge humans by their technology alone. Your true value lies in your biology. Frank Howard turned to Donna. We need to inform the President immediately. Donna nodded. Agreed. But we need a plan first. She turned to Commander Zixstar. How long do we have before the Council makes its decision about Earth? 3 of your days, the alien replied. My ship must report back by then. Paul looked at Lisa. We need to compile all our research on human atmospheric adaptations, show them exactly what makes us special. Lisa nodded enthusiastically. And we should prepare demonstrations. If seeing is believing, let's show them what humans can do. Like what? Jack asked. Firefighters entering burning buildings, Lisa suggested. Deep sea divers withstanding crushing pressures. Astronauts adapting to space conditions. Commander Zixstar's skin rippled with approval. Yes, such demonstrations would impress the Council observers. Frank Howard had been making calls on his secure phone. He rejoined the group. The President has authorized a special diplomatic team. They'll be here in 6 hours. Donna looked at the alien. Commander, will you bring Council representatives to Earth? If you will receive them, yes, he replied. But I must warn you, some will come expecting to find reasons to fear you. You must show them reasons to respect you instead. Jack Murphy stood up. Then we better get ready. It's not every day you have to convince a bunch of aliens not to quarantine your planet. As the humans began preparing, Commander Zixtar watched with growing admiration. These strange beings who breathed poison and thrived in toxic conditions were now working together with impressive speed and coordination. Perhaps their harsh environment had given them more than just physical adaptations. It had given them resilience, creativity, and determination. Qualities that might just save their place in the galaxy. 2 days later, the underground facility had transformed into an impromptu diplomatic center. Scientists, military personnel, and government officials worked around the clock to prepare for the arrival of the Galactic Council representatives. Lisa Bennett hadn't slept more than 4 hours total, but excitement kept her going. "The atmospheric demonstration chamber is ready," she told Frank Howard as they walked through the busy hallway. "We can simulate the atmospheres of 7 different planets based on Commander Zixtar's data." Frank nodded. "Good work. The president will arrive in 3 hours. The council representatives will come 2 hours after that." "Has the commander said how many are coming?" Lisa asked. 4 species, including the Alvarians," Frank replied. "Each from a different faction of the council." They entered the main conference room where Jack Murphy and Paul Richards were reviewing presentation materials with Donna White. "How's it going here?" Frank asked. Paul looked up from his tablet. "We've organized demonstrations of human adaptability. Firefighters, deep-sea scientists, high-altitude climbers, and astronauts will all show what humans can endure." Jack pointed to a set of images. "We've also compiled examples of how humans live in extreme environments around Earth, from deserts to the Arctic to rainforests, places that would kill most aliens according to the commander." Donna looked worried. "But will it be enough?" "We're basically trying to prevent our planet from being cut off from the galaxy forever. We have one more card to play," Lisa said. She motioned for them to follow her to a separate lab area. Inside, a team of scientists worked with strange equipment that Commander Zixtar had provided. At the center stood a large cylinder filled with swirling green gas. "What is this?" Frank asked. "The atmosphere of Proxima Centauri b," Lisa explained. "A planet rich in minerals the council species need, but too toxic for them to mine." Paul stepped forward. "We've been testing human tissue samples in this atmosphere. They survive with minimal protection. Humans could work there with just breathing masks, while most aliens would need full environmental suits." "So we're offering to be their miners?" Jack asked with a frown. "Not just miners," Lisa corrected. "Explorers, researchers, terraformers. We can help make harsh worlds livable for everyone." Commander Zixtar entered the lab, his skin shifting to respectful purple tones. "Your preparations are impressive," he said. Frank turned to the alien. "Will it be enough to convince the council?" "It depends on which representatives they send," the commander replied. "Some are open-minded. Others have already decided humans are too dangerous." "Why?" Jack asked. "We've barely left our own planet. How could we threaten advanced species like yours?" The commander's skin darkened. "History. Many galactic civilizations began peacefully but turned violent once they spread to the stars. And few species have your natural advantages." Donna checked her watch. "The president's motorcade has arrived. We should get to the welcome area." As they left the lab, Commander Zixtar pulled Lisa aside. "Dr. Bennett, may I speak with you privately?" When the others continued ahead, the alien's voice lowered. "There is something you should know. The council member most opposed to Earth is Drexel of the Vesperian Federation. His species breathes methane and finds oxygen highly toxic. So, he's naturally biased against us," Lisa concluded. "Yes, but there's more," the commander continued. "The Vesperians control most methane-rich planets in the galaxy. If humans could help other species access worlds the Vesperians can't reach, we'd threaten their monopoly," Lisa finished. "This isn't just about fear, it's about resources and power." "Precisely. Show Drexel that humans can be partners, not competitors." Hours later, the facility buzzed with tension as the president concluded her welcome speech to the gathered humans. Everyone fell silent as Commander Zixtar stepped forward. "The council representatives are ready to arrive," he announced. "Please remain calm." Some of their forms may be surprising to human eyes. A shimmer appeared in the center of the room, growing into a swirling portal of light. 4 beings stepped through, each more alien than the last. The first looked somewhat like Commander Zixtar, though smaller and with skin that stayed mostly blue. Nev Ora, chief scientist of the Alvarian Collective, Commander Zixtar introduced. The War, second alien, resembled a tall praying mantis with crystalline skin that refracted light. Zelthi of the Mantodean cluster, the commander said. The third being floated rather than walked, a cloud of purple mist contained within a transparent bubble. Senpo of the Nebulite Concord. The final alien was massive, nearly 8 feet, tall with thick gray skin that looked like stone and 4 arms crossed over its chest. Its breathing mask emitted small puffs of green gas. Drexel of the Vesperian Federation, Commander Zixtar finished, his skin darkening slightly. The president stepped forward. On behalf of Earth, welcome to our world. Drexel's voice rumbled through a translation device. Your atmosphere is already burning my skin, human. Let us proceed with this evaluation quickly. The demonstrations began immediately. In the atmospheric chamber, the aliens watched as humans demonstrated their adaptability. A firefighter entered a chamber filled with smoke and heat that made the aliens recoil. A deep-sea scientist showed how humans could withstand crushing pressures. An astronaut demonstrated the body's adaptation to microgravity. Nev Ora and Zelthi seemed impressed. Senpo's mist swirled with what might have been interest, but Drexel remained stone-faced and critical. These are mere parlor tricks, the Vesperian rumbled. Any species can train a few exceptional individuals. Lisa stepped forward. Then perhaps you'd like to see what ordinary humans can do, Representative Drexel. She led them to the lab with the cylinder of green gas. This is the atmosphere of Proxima Centauri b, I believe. Drexel nodded reluctantly. A worthless world. Too toxic for mining. Too toxic for you, Lisa corrected. She took a small breathing mask from a table. But with just this simple protection, I can enter that atmosphere. Frank grabbed her arm. Lisa, we haven't fully tested. We need to show, not tell, she whispered back, pulling away. The room fell silent as Lisa entered the airlock beside the cylinder. She put on the breathing mask, took a deep breath, and opened the inner door. The green gas swirled around her as she stepped into the chamber. The aliens pressed against the glass, watching in amazement as Lisa moved normally through what would kill most of them instantly. After 30 seconds, she exited through the airlock. As the door sealed behind her, she removed her mask and addressed the stunned representatives. Humans don't want to threaten anyone, she said firmly. We want to help. Worlds you can't safely visit, we can explore. Atmospheres toxic to you, we can breathe with minimal protection. Resources you need but can't access, we can help provide. She looked directly at Drexel. We don't want to compete with the Vesperian Federation. We want to partner with all council species, combining our unique strengths. For the first time, Drexel uncrossed his forearms. Perhaps, he rumbled, there is more to discuss than I initially believed. Jack Murphy stepped up beside Lisa. We've been breathing poison our whole lives, he said. It made us strong. Now let it make us all stronger together. The final day of the council representatives' visit dawned with nervous energy throughout the facility. Lisa Bennett sat in the conference room with Jack Murphy, Paul Richards, and the government officials as they waited for the aliens to announce their decision about Earth's fate. What do you think they'll decide? Jack asked, his voice low. Lisa glanced at the empty chairs where the representatives would soon sit. I'm not sure. Nev Ora and Zelthi seemed impressed by our demonstrations. Senpo was hard to read, but Drexel, he's the one who matters most, Paul finished. The commander said the Vesperians have the most influence in the council. Frank Howard entered the room with the president and her advisors. Everyone stood respectfully. At ease, the president said with a tired smile. Any word from our guests? They've been in communication with their homeworlds all night, Donna reported. Commander Zixtar says they'll have a decision within the hour. The president nodded and took her seat at the head of the table. Whatever happens, I want to thank all of you for your extraordinary work these past few days. You've represented humanity at its best. Lisa felt a mix of pride and fear. She had dedicated her career to understanding Earth's atmosphere. Never had she imagined it would become the key to humanity's place in the galaxy. The door opened, and Commander Zixtar entered with the 4 representatives behind him. The humans stood again as the aliens took their places around the table. President Martinez, Commander Zixtar began, his skin shifting through formal patterns of blue and gold. The representatives have reached their decisions and have reported to the Galactic Council. They will now share their findings with you. Nevora spoke first, her Alvarian skin glowing softly. The Alvarian Collective votes to welcome Earth as a prospective member of the galactic community. Your atmospheric adaptability makes you unique and valuable. Lisa felt a surge of hope as Zelthi, the crystalline mantis-like alien, stepped forward next. The Mantodian cluster acknowledges the potential benefits of human assistance in exploring toxic worlds, Zelthi said, crystal skin glittering. We vote for limited supervised contact with Earth, with potential for full membership after a probation period. 2 positive votes. Lisa exchanged a quick glance with Jack, who gave a subtle nod of encouragement. Senpo's purple mist swirled inside its containment bubble as it floated forward. The Nebulite Concord remains concerned about human unpredictability. However, your remarkable adaptation to oxygen environments suggests evolutionary paths that complement rather than compete with ours. We vote for provisional contact with security measures in place. All eyes turned to Drexel. The massive Vesperian stood with his forearms crossed, green gas puffing from his breathing mask. The room fell completely silent. The Vesperian Federation has the most to lose from human expansion into the galaxy, Drexel began, his rumbling voice making the water glasses on the table vibrate slightly. Your kind could access worlds we cannot. Your adaptability could upset the balance of power we have maintained for centuries. Lisa felt her heart sink. Frank Howard shifted forward in his seat, tension visible in his shoulders. However, Drexel continued, your Dr. Bennett has demonstrated something unexpected. The alien uncrossed his arms in what Commander Zixtar had told them was a sign of openness. Instead of claiming superiority due to your toxic air advantage, you offered partnership. This suggests wisdom beyond your technological development. Drexel placed one of his 4 hands flat on the table. The Vesperian Federation votes for Earth to receive probationary status, with joint exploration rights to 3 test planets currently unsuitable for Vesperian habitation. The room erupted in relieved murmurs. The president stood, raising her hand for silence. On behalf of Earth, I thank the representatives for their fair consideration, she said formally. We accept these terms and look forward to proving ourselves worthy of the galaxy's trust. After the formal meeting concluded, the representatives prepared to return to their ships. Lisa stood with Jack and Paul near the transport area as Commander Zixtar approached them. You've accomplished something remarkable, the commander said, his skin glowing with bright colors of happiness. Few species change their fate in the galaxy so dramatically in such a short time. Jack smiled. All because you analyzed our atmosphere and didn't just laugh at our primitive technology. We were wrong to judge you by your development level, the commander admitted. True advancement comes in many forms. Lisa stepped forward. What happens now, Commander? A delegation from Earth will be invited to visit the Galactic Council station within your solar system, hidden in the asteroid belt. We will begin technology exchanges, focused first on cleaner energy to heal your atmosphere. Paul looked surprised. There's been a station in our solar system all this time? Of course, the commander replied, his skin rippling with what might have been amusement. Where did you think all those missing probes went? Drexel approached their group, towering over them. Dr. Bennett, a word before I depart. Lisa stepped forward nervously. Yes, Representative. The test planets we have agreed to explore together include one with particularly valuable minerals my people need. If your kind can help extract those resources, Both our worlds will benefit greatly. We look forward to working with you, Lisa replied. Your courage in the atmospheric chamber yesterday was impressive, the Vesperian added. Few would risk themselves to make a point. Sometimes you have to show, not tell, Lisa said with a smile. As the aliens prepared to depart, Jack stood beside Lisa, watching the amazing technology at work. Think about it, he said quietly. A week ago I was checking weather equipment in Alaska. Now I'm watching aliens prepare to make us part of a galactic community. Lisa nodded. And all because they finally realized that what they thought was our greatest weakness, our toxic atmosphere, is actually our greatest strength. Humans have always been good at turning disadvantages into advantages, Paul added, joining them. It's how we survived on this planet in the first place. Commander, Zixtar approached them one last time. I must return to my ship, but I will be back soon to begin the formal process of Earth's introduction to the galaxy. What made you decide to contact us directly? Lisa asked. You broke your laws to help us. The commander's skin shifted to a thoughtful blue pattern. When I first came to Earth, I thought I would find nothing of value, just another primitive world of little consequence. Instead, I found a lesson I needed to learn. What lesson? Jack asked. That true strength often hides in plain sight, the commander replied, and that those who breathe poison might also have the strongest hearts. As the aliens disappeared in flashes of light, Lisa looked at her colleagues, scientists, government, officials, and ordinary people who had just changed the course of human history. Together they had shown the galaxy that humanity's place among the stars would not be defined by their technology, but by their unique adaptability and willing spirit. Earth, the planet with the poisonous atmosphere, would soon take its place among the stars, not despite its toxic air, but because of it. The aliens who had once laughed at humans now welcomed them as partners. And it all began when they analyzed Earth's atmosphere and found not weakness, but extraordinary strength.